We are from Group 2, and today our JAD session is about academic registration process. As what Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you for attending today your application to the development session. The main objective of our discussion today is to analyze the current academic registration system used at our institution and identify its strengths and weaknesses before we move toward designing a better system. Before we begin, allow me to briefly introduce our institution. We are from University Technology Malaya, and this session is part of our ongoing digital transformation initiative to enhance the efficiency of our student registration and data management processes. So let's start with a quick round of introduction. Please state your name and role in this session.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nadia Mani. I am an academic advisor that handles and monitors student registration.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nadia. I'm from the Register Officer Department. I'm handling student registration, reports, and general report at the end of each semester.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nadia. I'm one of the students who use this registration system. I will be sharing some user experience feedback.
Everyone, my name is Dorothy Sophia. I'm representing as a student that has been used the system since semester 1 until now.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Terhanta. I'm from the IT department and I'm in charge as training and development for IT system.
For me, I am Hasina. I am also from the IT department and I will be focusing on cyber security and data protection.
Good morning everyone. I am Asmiza. I will be observing and contributing from a management perspective.
Thank you everyone for the great introduction. Let's begin by discussing how the current academic registration system operates.
At the moment, students register for their course through an online form on their student portal. Once they sign in, I manually verify each student's course selection one by one.
So you mean there's no automatic checking for qualification or study plan for compatibility?
Exactly. I have to cross-check everything manually. Sometimes students choose subject that clash or they are not eligible for, so I need to contact them again to correct it.
And after Najwa approved the registration, I will receive all the data usually through email or Excel sheet. Then I have to record everything manually into an edit file for it. It's quite time-consuming.
Probably the product. The system we are using is actually quite adequate. It's using an old framework and the database does not automatically connect between modules. That's why you all need to handle the data better.
From a security perspective, the system is quite already good. There's no proper user authentication for students to log in using their ID and specific password. Also, I noticed there's no regular backup schedule. If the server crashes, we risk losing student data entirely.
Instead of different operation, preparing for occurring is complicated because data is accurate or updated on time.
So basically the system functions but it's not automated and costs a lot of repetitive work.
Yes, that's correct. It works, but it is inefficient.
Let's explain the law briefly. The process like my students submit their registration form through the portal. The data is then sent to the academic advisor for checking and approval. Once the advisor approves, it goes to the register office for the completion and report generation. Finally, the summary report is sent to the head of department for record purpose.
So the data flow is renewed from student to advisor and then registered to the management, but there's no automatic link between each part.
Exactly. Because of that, we often have to re-enter the data manually. Once no mistake could lead to mismatch record and missing entries.
And sometimes when I send back the verified list to the register, the file will make a change or become corrupted. This means I have to check everything. It slows the whole process.
I also like to add something from the cybersecurity perspective. During this data transfer process, the data is encrypted. That means during information that there are ID numbers, hospital, and even the person is passed around in plain text. If someone intercepts the network or access the shared from this, that data could easily be exposed.
Good point, Asina. So now we can see that the current flow is not just encrypted, but also vulnerable. Both integration and security look meaningful in the new design.
Alright, I'm recording this key issue. Data redundancy, lack of encryption, and encryption flow. Just to confirm, the data re-entry happened after advisor approval, correct?
Yes, exactly. That's the point where this data is special.
Note, I will highlight that section as a main point in the report.
For that everyone, I think let's move on to the next part, which is the example of form used by students during registration. So let's take a look at this for registration. Okay. It shows the step-by-step process that students go through during registration. I would like Ajana and Anissa as a student representative to share your experience following this step.
Sure. So we start with us as the student portal and log in our ID and password. That's step 2 and 3. This part usually is fine, but when too many students log in at the same time, the system becomes very slow and will crash.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes we start at the login page for 10 to 15 minutes, and when we get in, we have to log in again to the academic registration course section. That's step 4. It's still repeated.
Let's check the because the current system does not specifically assign one process. This station that requires the application is something we can subscribe to the television.
And when we move to the next part, step 6 to checking the timetable and choosing subjects. That's when I start receiving the incomplete submission. Some students keep checking timetable rush before finalizing their subjects.
Yes, because the system doesn't automatically recognize if there is a timetable clash. We have to manually check the timetable address and go back to adjust. It's confusing, especially for new students.
And also sometimes when we realize there is a glitch, we have to go back to choose another group and state the mistakes. So, but the system doesn't say how to do that, so we have to start over.
So you are saying if there are any error or patch, the system does not allow you to simply edit or need to redo everything.
Exactly, that's why registration takes hours and time.
From my side, I can confirm that students often make mistakes in their registration, especially when they are choosing the language or curriculum purpose. It creates confusion when I try to find this.
Since we must stop in other device, it increases the risk of password exposure. Most students use simple password that their birthday and show a weak screen practice.
True. That's why the new system should use a secure, single-side point with encryption and maybe two-factor authentication. It will save the faster.
I'm noting all the recurring issues of performance, multiple logins, and an automatic save. Just to confirm, this delay mostly happen during a registered hour, right?
Yes, usually when everyone finishes the class,
Alright, I will record that. In the summary, system load capacity and user experience are directly affected.
I think we can move on to the next part, how the output and reporting are handled after registration. Okay, now looking at the latest step in the track, from step 10 and onwards. Now looking at the latest step in the track, from step 10 and onwards. Students finalize their course selection, intake schedule and prepare their registration team. Let's talk about how small or difficult the part is.
for me, after I finalize the subject as well, I always double check my schedule at step 11 because sometimes the system mixes up the class section. Once I bring my registration slip, I notice one subject was missing.
Yes, that happens often. Registration slip, step 12, doesn't always show the latest updates. If we change a subject of the guide which doesn't refresh automatically. So we must review it.
That's because the current system doesn't update in real time. The printed version becomes data from the previous page. If the student changes the course selection, it doesn't reflect immediately in the database.
And then suddenly the students will come to me asking why their registration still doesn't match their activities. It becomes confusing for everyone.
Since students are allowed to download and store their state official devices, we should ensure those applications are password protected or watermarked. Currently, anyone can edit the file or screenshot it. It could risk to data misuse.
That's the good point. We can invest the weekend, relation with the new system. With digital signage or verification tools.
I think that we can improve both data in the BTM533 in the system output.
I'm nothing that no random data updates, manual approval, and document secretary consent. Just to confirm, Mira, the delay in step 13 happened before coordination approval, right?
Yes, sometimes approval overlap get missed because there is no verification to the coordination.
Exactly. If they want a system generated alert or dashboard for advisors and coordinators, everything will be faster.
They will also have to do window when our registration is officially complete instead of waiting for 1 year.
Yes, right now we don't even get the confirmation email. We just assume it's a school once we print this.
Okay, so the message we need output, you can say that there is no new data type update, manual approval process, no confirmation notification, and also we document secretary.
Exactly. And all that can be solved with automation and safer integration between tools.
On automation is 4 issues. Our proposed solutions are clearly highlighted in the session report.
Okay, perfect. That's for our discussion on the current info and output processes. Next, we will move into the identifying the core problem in details. Okay, everyone. So let's go through the problem phase within the course registration process. I want to start from the student perspective first, since they are the main user of the system.
Honestly, the biggest problem for us students is the system crash. Every semester, when the portal opens, it super slow and suddenly runs out. Sometimes, we can't even get it until midnight.
Exactly. And even when we finally log in, we must enter our student ID and password multiple times. It's keep frustrating, especially when the session keeps expiring the update.
Yeah, and once we get in, the system doesn't show real-time updates. For example, some classes are available, but when we try to register, they already full. We only find out after it fails.
And there's also the issue of timetable crashes. The system doesn't automatically that detect overlapping classes, so we must manually check everything. It's confusing and time-consuming.
For my side, I often see students coming in to me because their registration failed due to scratch. They must repeat the entire process from the start, which wastes time and causes stress.
That's true. Sometimes students also send incomplete data because of the network errors. When we receive the support, we cannot process them properly and erase everything.
These will use quick password or login profile development without protection. Also, sometimes students tend to share their password and their ID with their friends because of the crash on their device. This could also risk to data leak or password or to other system that get to. If the system doesn't have proper security, the account could get risk.
And we never get a confirmation message after submitting. We just have to guess whether our registration went through or not. It's so stressful waiting with the moment.
So the interface items of it is not mobile friendly and many students use their phones. We must zoom in and scroll around to click right button. That's the good part.
The current system does not optimize for mobile use. That's why some buttons or prompts translate correctly and small screens.
So far, the main issue for the student are first, system lag and crash, repeated login and cutout, no real-time updates, timetable clash, not infected, no confirmation message, outdated interface, and lastly, weak cybersecurity practice.
Exactly. There's a lot of pain points, but it's what you are saying the real situation for the student group. Next, I think we can discuss what improvement we can propose after all these issues. Okay, everyone. That we have identified for those on issue, let's discuss the solution. Our main goal is to design a new registration system that works better for students and staff, especially in mobile apps. This proposed system will later be developed as a mobile application for the night to demonstrate the new process.
I think the first thing we need is a faster and more stable system. Every semester, we get frustrated because the system crashed. Maybe the new system should use a stronger server or a queue system so everyone doesn't log in at once.
That's the great suggestion, Amanda. We get people cloud-based hosting, so the server automatically scale when there's high traffic and the users log in at the same time. That will be the system overload and downtime during peak session hours.
It will also have the system to save progress automatically. Sometimes the connection drops and all our data disappears. After server, we use a lot of resources.
Absolutely. We can design each session memory, so even if your connection fails, your progress will still be stored temporarily until you connect.
For me, I would appreciate an automatic Google dashboard. It will highlight students who already meet all requirements. So I will have to manually open each form. It will save a lot of time.
The system can generate reports automatically once the advisor approves the process. It will reduce manual Excel work and minimize edits.
Yes, beyond those points will improve efficiency. What about user experience? Any suggestion for the student side?
Oh, definitely. The interface here design something like primary and only. Most students use phones. So the button should be larger, the layout simple, and it should be
And also should show real-time course availability. For example, if a class already full, it should update instantly so we don't have to waste time trying to register for it.
That's very doable. We can connect to a live database that updates every few seconds. It will display how many slots are left per course in real time.
I strongly suggest we can structure your features by two-factor authentication and personalization or HTTPS as a password. That way, no one can access the student information.
That sounds good. Can you guys specifically when you look in for Wi-Fi or even for
All of these are excellent ideas. I will note down each improvement so we can include them in the summary report and prototype outline later.
Yes, and this includes automated confirmation message too. Once you finish a registry, it should send an email confirming our subject and schedule. That will give us peace of mind.
So, good point for everyone. So, to summarize our focus improvement that we implement faster cloud-based system to prevent crash, automation and session memory features, mobile-friendly and modern interface, real-time crash availability display, automated advisor approval dashboard, auto-generate register report, enhanced security, and also automated confirmation message for students.
These things will make the system not only efficient, but also student-centered. I will reduce workload for staff and improve user satisfaction.
I will finalize all these key points in the session minute and send them to everyone by email later for the review.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Antonina, for the request, and thank you for everyone for your active participation. This JAD session was very productive. We have identified problems, discussed solution, and reached the direction forward.
Yes, this discussion really helped us understand how important the system is.
I'm so excited to see how the new version will make registration easier for everyone. Don't worry, the future is not just easy, but also safe.
That is okay. Alright, let's conclude our day and then move on to development stage next week.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the JAD session. Okay, Sila, and approve evaluated. They ask me, why? Hijab atau hijab? Saya berapa? Pagi-pagi ada nama-nama shop. Right. So how long does it take for you to compile everything? What dialogues? How long does it take? 1 week to 1 to 2 weeks. And do you find it easy or difficult? Difficult. Difficult to get everyone in. Then, okay, since you are part of the user, you all know the flow of the current system. But in a real project, okay, you have to dig out information. Alright, so the one that you conduct, users are giving full cooperative to give the input. But in reality, kalau dunia IT tak macam tu it is not that easy to get all the details that you want at one shot, at one go. But eventually JAD session tu memang ada banyak series lah, bukan hanya one time saja. So in real world, you need to conduct more than one time. Okay. You mentioned the timetable. If there's clash, kan, you cannot detect it. It is undetectable. You cannot detect if there's clash.
We need to check about ourselves.
But I thought when you register the subject, if there's clash, you cannot register at all actually.
Because some students that take the language, they already choose the class subject. And they already registered. And after that, they need to inform the academic advisors.
To drop the subject.
Then academic advisors also need to open another group and need to discuss.
But by nature, whenever that you register subject, those clashes tu memang tak boleh register langsung lah. Sama ada tu appear from your side ke macam mana? Because tak ada button register kat situ. Because it is detected sebagai clash. Tapi bukan.
Mostly take language ataupun language.
Mungkin kalau courses yang ada BA262 mungkin clash lah. Tapi kalau subjek yang daripada fakulti lain, you cannot detect lah. That makes sense. So, I guess that's about it. Tak sabar nak tunggu you all punya dekat nanti. How to propose a solution for the existing current system. Okay. So, thank you very much for the JD session. Submission untuk upload report tu saya belum lagi create dekat Evision. Nanti once create, I will let you know dekat WhatsApp tu.